let's start with this video. Let's see, Eric, I think I can get that going here. You want to turn off our webcams, I guess, or yours. Yeah, there we go. And I think that it'll just start playing here. Here we go. Okay, guys, we just completed our training here with ABS, and as you can see, we're right in the middle of the graduation party, and everybody's just kind of visiting and talking to one another about how excited they are about going through the training. So if you haven't been down here, what are you waiting for? Get down here as quick as you can. All right, well, that was just for fun, but it kind of gives you an insight as to what it's like there to be there at the live training workshop there at the Marriott Hotel there near the DFW airport. That's where we do the training.
That's exactly where it
was. So, hey, I just wanted to kind of take up from where you left off there, Eric. Monica, I think you said, is from Atlanta. It says Dolly Mae is from Springfield. Angela's from Upper Maryborough, Maryland. And Tobiah is there. James says, my first time. And Roseanne. Anyway, I say, hey, the questions are already starting to come in, Eric.
They are. But if we can start.
I don't know why I can't hear Eric. I guess everybody else can. Maybe it's just me. I don't know.
Okay. How about now? Are you able to hear me?
Still can't hear a thing, Eric. So I don't know what's going on there.
Okay.
Maybe it's my. Oh, here we go. Now it is. Sorry.
Are you able to hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I had.
Very good.
Have a button pushed here on my computer.
Yep. Okay. So let's get to this first one here, and then we can start taking some other questions as we go along. I think this is a great way to start because obviously people want to know, Patrick, is this a real business? Is this just another scam? Obviously we're talking to all of our people through the internet and talking to them through, the webinars that we do. And so let's talk about this because this has been asked of us, often. Are we just a scam here? What is a scam here?
There are a lot of scams out there on the internet, and we're just trying to be upfront here, folks, that we acknowledge the fact that it is unusual for a company like ourselves to be basically selling a franchise/business opportunity over the internet with an investment of almost $26,000 now. And yet, folks, we have had people doing this for 22 years. Now, one of the reasons is because you can't be a scam on the internet for long. I'm convinced, Eric, that if a company doesn't do what they say they're going to do, it'll be out there, right? It's all over the place. With social media, people just share that kind of thing, and boom. Then they go to the Better Business Bureau and report it, and the Better Business Bureau starts putting out bad reports, and you just can't stay around for 23 years like we have by being a scam. So this is one of the reasons, Eric, that I came up with the guarantee. I know we're going to talk about that as one of the questions a little bit later to explain how that works. But briefly, I just want to refer to the fact that, folks, a company like ours can't give a money-back guarantee at the end of their training workshop and stay in business if they don't do what they say they're going to do.
Absolutely.
And so you'll just have to see it to believe it. But it's true. We have had to give some refunds in the past.
Sure.
I'm talking about a handful over the last 23 years, but it did happen, and things happen, and maybe it's not for you. Maybe you come down here and you sit through the week and you go, this is just not what I thought it was at all. So you'll see the guarantee is very straightforward, and that's why another reason that you can be pretty assured that we couldn't be a scam or we couldn't do that.
Yeah, matter of fact, folks, I think everybody understands that medical billing it's a real business. We've shared on some other webinars in the past where you can actually go to Entrepreneur. You can go to Amazon.com. And you could literally buy a book from Entrepreneur magazine called How to Start a Medical Billing Business. In there, it's going to kind of give you a step-by-step of everything you're going to need to know of getting started. But as you go to the end of the book, it has lists more books that you could get from there, And then also at the end of that book, it actually says if you're looking for certain things, then one of the places you might want to look into is a business opportunity. I think Patrick's pointing it out right now. There you go. There's that book. You might want to turn to that.
This is published by Entrepreneur Magazine, and they've been around, like Eric said, for a long time, 30 years.
Yeah.
This is a book that you can buy on Amazon or in a bookstore. And so again, it's not a fake business, because look, you hear about fake news all the time now, Eric. This is not a fake business. It's real. Right. They even tell you how to do it. Now, can you learn all there is to know to get your own business started in 200 pages? I doubt it. But they do, like Eric said, refer back in the back of the book here in the appendix to if you want to start your own business with a company, they have a list there that has ABS as one of the companies that you can invest with. So there you go.
So it just kind of helps answer the question, are we a scam? Obviously, you can check us out. Check us out on the Better Business Bureau. And obviously check with other licensees that have actually been through the program. I think that's one of the other areas.
Yes, of course. Good, Eric. I hadn't even thought about talking about that at this point. But, yeah, we have licensees that will take calls. These are not, people set up, just to take calls that are not real licensees. In fact, some of them have offices.
Yeah.
And if you ask them and arrange it, they will let you come to their offices and see their operation. I mean, from coast to coast, we have people that will talk to you about the business and what their experience was going through our live training workshop, how they got their first client, how hard it is, what the bad parts, the good parts. They'll tell you everything, and we don't tell them what to say. So we've got Eric? I don't know, 2 or 3 dozen of those licensees that from time to time will rotate through and take those calls. So, get back with your ABS coach, the person who sent you the email to get to this webinar. And just say, I'm at the point where I want to talk to real licensees. Now, to do that, folks, we're going to make sure that you are, I hate to use the word qualified, but we do want to know that you are able to invest in the business and come down here for that week's training. We're not going to ask you for money up front, but we're just going to say that you have to be serious about this, because this business is not for everybody. We're the first ones to tell you that. But as you ask the right questions to people who have been through the training, they'll tell you, and maybe you'll figure it out whether it is right for you or not.
All right, so let's bounce back. Maybe we can kind of go back and forth between questions that we have. I'm going to go over here. Roseanne Kim has asked a couple of questions here. The first question is how do I get providers to sign on to my medical billing platform, and do you have royalty fees?
Well, let me address the royalty fees first. No, though this is not a franchise, Roseanne, so we have a one-time, lifetime licensing fee. To be specific, I indicated earlier it's less than $26,000. It's only $10 less. It's $25,990. But that includes the week training here in Dallas and lifetime support from us in all aspects of your business, and lifetime access to our private licensing website that has over 100 hours of training and dozens of articles and documents that we have prepared, for this business. So you have access to all that. Plus, you have access to all of our marketing materials. We give you over 2,000 pieces of professionally designed marketing materials, including copies of the book that Eric showed on the screen earlier, The New Thriving Medical Practice. We're going to show you how to use this as a marketing tool to go out and market with. So to kind of answer your other part of your question there, Roseanne, how do I get providers to sign up? We can't do that in a 1-hour webinar today, but that's why we take a week to do the training there in Dallas to go through that in detail. Believe me, we spend a lot of time on how to get clients. That's a big part of your being successful in any business.
I thought I'd go right over here, Patrick, to our licensee website, the licensee support site, and kind of talk you through some of the things that Patrick's discussing here. Since we're kind of just free for all today, we're just kind of looking at different things. We want to actually kind of show you live. Now, this is our website. It's the licensee support website, and I'm showing it to you live directly here on the screen, so you can kind of see what's going on here. But
Eric has already logged into this, by the way. You had to get past login because it's a private site. You can't go to it. If you went there yourself, you'd see you have to log in to see all this. But
we kind of get you all set up for training, and I know that one of the questions that we have here is also, is the training online or do I have to go in person? And then Tobiah, you asked the question, training, what does it do, or what is it really telling about? So Patrick, let's kind of talk about training. I mean, I've got it pulled up right here. You can kind of talk about it, and I'll pop back over here between that and this slide that we have over here about training.
Yeah, so Tobiah, this could be your first time on a webinar with our company, but basically what we're going to teach you in that week's workshop is everything you need to know. Yes, you can learn everything you need to know, well, enough to get started. Let's put it that way. Let's be honest. You're not going to learn everything there is about medical billing in 1 week, even 8 hours a day, 5 days. There's a lot of material covered during that week, though, that will get you started. And as you can see from the picture here on the screen, we get you started on day one with the laptops. We bring in laptops and set them right in front of you. And each table with 2 people get to actually put their hands on there and start doing medical billing. You'll actually be filing medical claims. So we're going to teach you how to run your own business, Tobiah. We're going to teach you from scratch how to set up your business, how to name it, what kind of entity it should be, like a corporation or a partnership or so forth. And then we're going to show you exactly what you need to do to go out and get the clients. So it's pretty complete. Roseanne is asking about whether there'll be some help to do the sales and marketing.
Patrick, I was going to show this. I put myself on mute there for a second, but I thought for Tobias' sake, if you'll go to our YouTube channel, Patrick and I just did a webinar last week on what do you learn in the 5 days of training. So you can see here that we've got an entire library on top of everything else that we have for you to do your due diligence. Plus, again, once you become a licensee of ours, there's tons of videos over here on this side here as well.
Yes, this site is for once you become a licensee. The YouTube channel he just showed you is for anybody to go out there. And I think you can access that from our website, can't you, Eric? The YouTube channel. It's one of the links under something up there at the website. Yeah, there it is right there. Over in the right-hand corner there, you can see he's kind of pointing to it. There he is. YouTube. Yeah. And that'll take you there. And there are literally, gosh, we've been doing this for years, so there's dozens and dozens of webinars that you can go back and watch that we've recorded, just like this one is being recorded today. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So if there's something that's piqued your interest and you want to go to something very specific, just go over here to our YouTube channel and we can direct you right over there. All right. So we kind of talked a little bit about training there, and was there another question over here on the right-hand side, Patrick, you wanted to handle?
You mean in the question box? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Roseanne does say, will there be some help to do the sales and marketing? And yes, that's what a big portion of this training is all about, is sharing with you the secrets we've learned over the last 23 years. My wife started doing medical billing out of our home here in Fort Worth back in the late 80s. And I had to go out and figure out how to get clients. And so that's part of what the training's based on, but the training is done by a licensee who's currently in business, has been for 8 years, and she's going to teach you exactly what she's done to build her business and what's working out there in real life right now.
Patrick, I think one of the best kept secrets that we have right now is the new Thriving Medical Practice book. Did you have a copy of that again? And let's kind of talk about that and how that's actually being used in starting to contact directly to doctors.
Yeah, so what we do is during that workshop, we actually take this book and we show you how to mark it up. That is, highlight certain passages in the book. And we use little sticky notes here to put little tabs on here. And we teach you how to give that to a doctor, exactly what to say to them, or even to mail it to them, to get it right to their desk. And once they read this, basically what you're using is what we call educational marketing. You're educating the doctor on the need for what we do, what you'll be doing for the doctor. And it is the most marvelous, wonderful marketing tool that you could possibly have because it's written by me. And and a medical doctor, Dr. Vicki Rackner, who's a retired general surgeon, who said, Patrick, if we put out a book like this to help doctors stay in private practice, we'll be helping them, they'll be helping their community, and of course the licensees are being helped by getting clients, so it's a win-win situation. Yeah, you get a supply of these in your kit. I think there's about 20 copies, and then you can order these for, even though it's a $24.95 book at Amazon here, you can pick these up from us for about $4 a copy. That's our printing cost. So it's a great marketing.
I went ahead and pulled this up here too because their name will actually go on the book as the forward there. I think that's one of the things you're discussing there too. So I thought I'd pull that up there and just you can see what Patrick's talking about right there.
Yeah, your contact information would be printed in the book. Your name is printed right there on the front cover with a CMRM, Certified Medical Revenue Manager, right there on the cover of the book. Folks, your credibility is just instant with a doctor when they see that you're associated with a doctor, Dr. Rackner, and myself, the chairman of the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. So it doesn't get any better than this from a marketing standpoint. There's really no selling involved in this. Eric, what would you say? It's more consulting, right?
Right. Yeah,
ask the right question.
Yeah.
And find out what the problem is. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go back over to our slides and kind of go back to some of the questions that I know we've received in the past, and I know there's probably one going to be over here already. Aren't doctors already doing their own billing, and why would they need me?
Yes, if you think about it, doctors are doing their own billing in their own office with their own staff, or they've already decided that it's better for them to focus on patient care and turn something like the billing over to an outside company. Medical billing companies are all over the place. You won't be the only one out there. What you'll be is the only one that has the technology that we have that can get the doctor's revenue maximized. And so, yes, they need you because they shouldn't be focusing on this, and it costs them more to do it in their own office with their own staff than it would to outsource it to you. You're going to be charging a small percentage of all the money that you bring in, so you have an incentive to get as much money in as you possibly can from the insurance companies and Medicare, and the more money you bring in, the more money you make, and the more money they save.
Yeah, and then let's go to this one's a huge question, again, about experience and background about medical billing / coding. And again, this is one of those other webinars that we've just taken an entire hour to go over, but let's talk about this, Patrick. Why does someone need a background or a training or prior experience in medical billing?
Well, let's take this last class last week, Eric. It was 29 people showed up for that class. When we asked that question, Adam did at the very beginning, how many of you have a background in the medical field? Probably a half a dozen people raised their hands because there are a lot of people that have had some association with the medical market. Then when he said, how many of those have specifically been involved in the billing for a doctor, only one person raised their hand. So
right.
That's very typical that most of the people who come through our training have no background. And that's probably a good thing, right, Eric? They would have to unlearn a whole lot of bad habits. So we teach you from scratch everything you need to know, folks. This is a complete, that's why we can certify you at the end of the week. In 1 week's time, we can certify you because you'll also have continuing education as an ABS licensee at no additional cost to you. That's all included in that one-time licensing fee. And you'll continually learn. Look, Eric's learning things new all the time about this business. I am too.
All the time. Patrick, there's some questions here that have to do with franchising. How long have we been, doing franchising? Or obviously, we put up there one of ours that we've been around for 23 years. But I thought maybe I put this slide up here in light of when people are asking, what are my royalty fees with you? What are my franchise fees with you? So let's kind of address several questions with this one particular slide. So how does ABS make money on an ongoing basis?
Yeah, that's an interesting question and a very important one, folks, because even though we're not a franchise, so we don't have royalties, a royalty is where you have to pay based on your gross revenue, your total amount of money that you bring in for a business, you have to pay a percentage back to the franchisor. We don't do that. You will not be paying ABS a penny directly to ABS, you don't pay anything to us after you pay the initial licensing fee. So how do we stay in business? How do we support you on an ongoing basis? It's real simple. All of the services that you'll be able to offer to a doctor, including the billing, of course, we have 7 other services you can offer. We make money on. We make a few pennies on each one of those transactions. So that brings in revenue on the back end for ABS and allows us to continue servicing you and being there for your support forever. As long as you're an ABS licensee, we're going to be making money off of the services that you've offered to doctors. So it's kind of like a partnership. It's a win-win, right? You make money, we make money. It's the American way.
Absolutely. I know that, let's see, I'm kind of going back over to some of these questions here. I'm kind of going back and forth between some questions that we want to go through and some of the questions that are coming in. So what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm going to go back over here to these questions because there's some people that are asking questions about clearinghouse fees, support, upgrade, user fees, etc. So Patrick, what are the other costs associated with becoming an ABS licensee?
All right, well, first let's define a clearinghouse. A clearinghouse is usually a third-party company that is set up to receive the data from you that they're going to scrub, that is, make sure that it's clean, there's no errors, and then forward that on to the insurance companies and to Medicare. All right, that's a clearinghouse. With most clearinghouses, you have to pay a fee for each one of those claims that they process for you, and that's not true with ABS because we own our own clearinghouse. There is no third party. It comes to us, and we clear it and then send it directly to the insurance companies. But there are fees that the doctor will be paying for access to our system and for you for processing the claims. So you don't have any direct fees that you're going to be paying to ABS, but there are fees that the doctor has to cover. That's how the software continually gets upgraded and updated and supported, right? So there are ongoing fees, but the doctor covers those fees. Now we'll teach you how to bundle that all in your proposal to the doctor so that he's covering those fees, but you don't have to worry about that because that's covered by the doctor. And they're minimal fees compared to what you would normally pay a clearinghouse. Some clearinghouses you could pay $1 a claim or say down to 75 cents a claim. But it doesn't matter because we don't have those fees. There are no fees per claim to have those processed.
All right.
There are no support fees. Ongoing support is forever. It's a lifetime support. There are no upgrade fees. Folks, we upgrade the software based on that fee that I just mentioned that the doctor's paying, and there's no user fees. You can add as many users to the system as you want and have as many people logging in as you wish. No extra charge.
Right. So it's really all bundled. It's all bundled together. There's no nickel and diming you trying to figure out upgrade fees or user fees, what they would call seat, how many seats can actually be in a particular software program. So that's all covered as well. Dolly Mae, question. I've got a quick question over here from Dolly Mae, and I'm going to get over to it because I'm going to switch from her question to one of the slides because it considers that, and that is, what does the average person make doing medical billing? And her question, she goes, I understand from another PowerPoint slide presentation that you guys did about $120 a day. How is this really broken down? So we actually kind of forecasted that this question may come back up again, so we're going to talk about it again right now. So Patrick, what does the average person make doing medical billing?
Well, that's a very interesting question, and it kind of goes along, I think, with the next question that you have there about, how much money can I make with one client? So, Eric, you put this together, and I think it's a very clear way of explaining this. One of the questions that Dolly Mae has is, since this is not a franchise, can you provide your own rate? Yes, Dolly Mae, you are the one who determines what you're going to charge to a particular doctor. Now, again, with our lifetime support, if you are wondering what you should charge for a particular client, we can give you some guidelines on that. So we from our history, we kind of know what should it be 5%, should it be 8%? It's somewhere in there, and we can help you with that. But I think, Eric, you based this one on what, 6% or something?
Yeah, 6%. And so I'll kind of break this down for everybody. If you got one doctor, on average, what we've taken is one doctor seeing 20 patients a day. Now, you'll be able to go, I'm going to kind of go over here quickly. there, I may even show it live. We'll do this live here again, just so that you can see how it all works. But we want to break it down. One doctor seeing 20 patients a day, and each one of these patients is valued at about $100 in insurance reimbursement. Okay. Now, there's a lot of people that would ask, well, is that the amount that's charged to the insurance company or the amount that's reimbursed to the doctor? We're talking about the reimbursed amount right now. So on average, each patient that the doctor sees is getting reimbursed right around $100. So again, that's $2,000 a day. Now, how you break this down is that if that doctor's making $2,000 a day at 6%, your average earning on that particular day to do the medical billing for that doctor rolls out to be about $120 per day for less than about 2 hours of work. So we've got to get there less than 90 minutes of work. Then if you take that out the entire year, just so that you can kind of see what this looks like, if you're doing billing for one doctor 5 days a week, you got $120 a day, $600 a week, 52 weeks out of the year, $31,200 per year per doctor. So looking at that on our website, you could go underneath our website. I'll pull that up here just real quickly so you can see. You can see how you can do that. You can see that the total yearly gross income can be $31,200 per year servicing one office. So if you'll just go over to our website, I'll pull this up again right here and go directly to our website, Income Potential, Medical Billing Income Calculator. And here we go. We got one doctor seeing 20 patients a day, 5 days a week at 6% of a $100 reimbursement. You hit submit, and again, there you got the numbers come up. If you want to play around with this, say that you know of a doctor, he or she's seeing more than 20 patients a day. We'll put that in there. Let's say 35 patients a day. Keep the same numbers there, hit submit, and you can see what on average that one particular office can bring in for you. So here's a great way for you to go over there and check that out on our website.
Yeah, and Larry's asking a good question here that kind of ties in with this. He says, is the model based on the licensee selling and doing the billing work, or is there revenue to support hiring people to do the billing?
That's a great
while the owner sells and manages? Larry, we have people doing both ways. Now, this particular model is based on you doing the billing. As you can see, that would be your money. But out of that money that you're bringing in for yourself, you could, of course, afford to pay somebody to do the billing, because it's not going to cost you $2,600 a month to do the billing for this doctor. You'd have a lot of money left over. So you can share some of that with a data entry person, teach somebody how to do this. They can work out of their home since it's a cloud-based system. And you can even watch them do that using technology like we're using right here. So it is based on the model where you're doing it. But if you wanted to just kind of be the guy who goes out and gets new clients, brings them, and finds people to do the billing, believe me, there's lots of people in your area who would love to do the billing, working out of their home. And you pay them, so much per claim, or maybe so much per, hour to do the billing. We can show you how to do that.
Yeah, and so Patrick, I brought up this other slide that you came up with this question. I think it all ties in together very nicely. How many providers can one person handle, or how many claims can one person file in a day's time?
Well, I think your example that you just gave was based on what, 20 a day?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's 20 claims, and folks, when you come to the training, you'll be doing a claim for your very first claim, putting in all the information about the patient, even not assuming that they're a repeat patient. From scratch, it will take you about 5 minutes to do that claim. Now, once that patient comes back the second time, it could take you 30 seconds to file the claim the second time they come in. So believe me, you're going to be making a lot of money per hour. A lot of our licensees say they make $70, $80, $90 an hour doing this work. Well, if you'd rather not do the work, share some of that with somebody else, and you get to keep the rest as the owner of the company.
And whenever it gets down to the question about how many providers can one handle, it's Patrick, we all kind of calculated this out, that if someone's going to do this themselves, and if you can handle about 20 patients, 20 claims a day for a doctor, and that's taking you just over an hour, we kind of calculated that it could go either way. one person can probably do anywhere from 100 to 150 claims a day, depending upon how many claims each doctor is actually pushing out per day. That could turn out to be anywhere from 4 to 5 doctors. We do know some of our licensees who have at least one doctor that can do up to 50 patients a day. So if you had 2 of those are 2 doctors, but it's still coming out to be about 100 claims a day. So we're going to teach you that scale to when is it time for me to stop me personally doing the billing and then hiring someone else.
If you put in as many hours doing this billing, folks, that you do working, traveling to and from your current job and working for your current boss, you'll be making a lot more money doing it yourself, and you can handle, a handful of clients that would make you a 6-figure revenue. Mm-hmm. Now, if you get to the point where you can't handle more than the 5 or 6 that you are handling, then you have to decide whether you want to hire someone else. Now, being a part of our network, there's always other licensees that would be willing to buy a client from you if you had a client that you didn't want to, handle. There are people who don't want to grow any bigger than just working out of their spare bedroom and, making another $40,000, $50,000 a year. To them, that is real freedom. But there are others who want to build their business as big as they can, and some of them can take on, they're willing to hire new people and train people and take on as many clients as they can handle.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the title of the webinar today is how many doctors do I need to make a CEO income? And I guess we got to kind of define what a CEO income might be, Patrick. Why don't you start there, and then again I'll go back to our website and we'll kind of play around with some of those numbers again.
Yeah, because we have I think one of the calculators there is based on how much money you want to make, right? And then how many doctors you'd have to have. So Correct. Maybe we should that, Eric. But look, I don't know about CEOs in general. Some CEOs, of course, are making millions of dollars. We're talking about a typical CEO, though, of a small company like you will be running. So let's use the 6-figure. That's the magical figure in most people's minds, that if they can make 6 figures, that's 100,000 plus, then they'd be doing pretty good, especially if they were just running this business, out of their home, which my wife and I did. So, yes, you can get to that point real easily. Isn't there a calculator there under income potential, Eric, that would there you go, right there. How many doctors would it take? I wasn't watching it.
Yeah, so we'll just see, what it's going to take to get $100,000. So it calculates out here 3 to 5 doctors needed for $100,000 annually.
Yeah, now remember that could be gross income. I mean, right. That's not net. Net means you have some expenses, right, running this business. Now, if you're running it out of your home, you wouldn't have any rent or utilities because you've already paid that already. You're going to have a phone bill. Maybe you're just using your cell phone and using some of the technology that's available that makes it look like you're answering a business phone on your cell. Faxes are all done nowadays electronically through email and attachments. So there's really not a whole lot of expenses in running the business itself. But $100,000, again, 3 to 5 doctors, Eric, don't we have people who are doing managing a dozen doctors probably still, and they still haven't outsourced it or hired other people? It all depends on the size of the client, the number of claims they're doing, how many patients they're seeing.
Yeah, and I think here's another way to kind of look at it here, because you can go back between the medical billing income calculator and the income replacement calculator, kind of go between those two there, and if you've got $100,000 that you're trying to make and recoup or try to get to that spot, just come in here and place 5 doctors right there and keep the number at 20. Just see what it looks like at 6%. These are all baseline numbers. These are very, very, very small numbers. And hit submit there, and then you've got right there with just 5 doctors, each of those seeing 20 patients a day. That's $156,000 or right at $13,000 monthly income.
Yeah, even if you had $56,000 in expenses that year, you're still going to net the $100,000 that we're talking about here. So,
yeah. And I guess that's coming out to be that's 100 claims a day. right? 5 times 20 is 100 claims a day. So if you hired someone just to do that and you paid them $50,000, then you're at the 106,000 minus again some of your expenses there. But that's still not bad of thinking about what does it mean to make a CEO type income.
Yeah, but folks, this is why we came up with this calculator. We didn't want to tell you what you're going to make because nobody knows that for sure, right?
Right.
Everybody's going to do something different with this business. We do have people that are thrilled if they replace their current income. Maybe they're making $40,000 a year at their current job, and they replace that by getting, 2 or 3 doctors. They're thrilled with that. So you just have to make the decision as to how big or small you want to keep the business.
Patrick, there's a question here from April. April's got a question here. Do you help with settling up the business? Now, I'm assuming taking care of how are you going to get paid? So April, help us to clarify that. But it kind of goes along with one of the questions that we've talked about, Patrick. Who actually pays me? Does the doctor pay me as the medical billing company, or does ABS pay me?
Yeah, our system, folks, has terrific reporting built into it, so you can at any moment in time tell exactly how much money you've brought in for that doctor during a 1-month period, for example. So with that number that you brought in for the doctor, times your 6%, 7%, 8%, 5%, whatever it is that you're charging, right, you can easily come up with the figure that the doctor owes you for that month's billing. And you simply invoice that doctor. Now, the software that we're using is for billing the doctor's payers, the insurers, not the doctor himself. So you'll need a small software program, probably $150, like QuickBooks, which is an accounting program. That will generate an invoice that you can mail to the doctor. Now, some of our licensees set that up on an automatic payment system, so the doctors debited that payment each month right out of their bank account. But in any case, it's the doctor that's paying you directly. ABS has no part of that. We don't get any part of that money. That's all yours to keep. You're your own business person and owner.
Yep. All right, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and choose another question that we have from ours as I kind of keep looking over. I'm kind of glancing back over between these two here. But I know there's some questions that I'm looking over about running a home business. So I think this is a great time to talk about this. Well, how would doctors react to the fact that we would be running our business from our home?
I just happened to be in the room when our instructor last week, Cynthia Anderson, was actually talking to the class about this, because one of the people in the class asked about, well, will the doctor, what will he think about me running this business out of my home? She said, well, I ran my business out of my home for several years before I actually got an office space, and it doesn't matter because I never had a doctor visit me. They don't come to your house, folks. You go to their office. And in fact, in today's world, there are many, many viable businesses that are run out of people's homes. Home business is a huge, huge industry. That's why Entrepreneur Magazine puts out books like this, because It's so easy to start businesses out of your home nowadays with the technology that's available. You don't have to have an office. Now, if you want to get away from your 5 kids, that might be a reason to rent an office space. I have a licensee that did that just for that reason, by the way. But Cynthia has 2 boys, 6 and 9, and she says, I worked it right out of my home. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
You know, you mentioned something interesting about working from home and, using the book there from Entrepreneur Magazine and just learning how to get started on the business. Tobiah is asking a question. She goes, I'm trying to understand, why should anyone pay you $26,000 without making any money yet? So you want to explain that? Because I think we can try to work through that. Why do we need to pay you any money here at ABS, Patrick, to get started in medical billing?
I ask that every semester in college. Why am I paying the college thousands of dollars and then textbooks on top of that, to go and take courses when I wasn't making any money? So, Tobiah, you have to think of it this way. Any course or any business opportunity that's going to teach you how to make money, of course, is going to charge you money up front for that, just like a college would. There's no guarantee when you graduate from college, by the way, that that piece of paper will get you any job. It's just not a guarantee. This is no guarantee either. You could go through our training, and if you don't do anything when you get home, you might not make any money. So you have to be careful. It is an investment, just like any other training that you're going through. Think of it as a training program that happens to last only a week here in Texas, but that's ongoing. We do webinars just about every week for our licensees, not on Wednesday like we're doing this one, but on Friday. That's when we do the licensees webinars. I'm preparing one for this Friday, in fact, of myself. I do a lot of the training because I love sharing my background, my knowledge of business in general and success principles to help licensees be successful. You may need a lot more training than just what we give you there in that 5 weeks. But as I said earlier, on our website for licensees that you'll have access to, we've got over 100 hours of training there. So any training is going to cost you something in today's world.
Yeah, and she's asking, I think she may have a background, maybe even a certified medical billing background. And Tobias, you can anybody that has a background in medical billing, you can go start it. Obviously, you need software. You're going to need to know how to get everything arranged. So this is just one way to get started. Now, what you get with American Business Systems might be a good opportunity for you to go back and listen to one of our webinars that we've done in the past, because we're supporting you along the way. I was talking to someone earlier today. We're one of those rare companies that actually gets involved with you in the process of helping you get your client. We do live demonstrations. Patrick, I know you love talking about that, the demonstrations that we actually do for our licensees to help them get clients, because this will kind of help answer the question, do I have to cold call people? I'm not strong in selling. Marketing's not really my background. So maybe we can bundle all of these questions that I'm seeing here about marketing and sales and this, and kind of wrap that in there of what they're actually getting from us here at ABS, and maybe kind of focus in on that whole part about doing the demonstrations of the software.
Yeah, we actually do, as Eric said, a live demonstration of our technology for your prospective clients. So what we really teach you to do, folks, is not to go out and sell anything. What we teach you to do is to educate the doctor to the point where they want to know, how is it that you're going to save me thousands of dollars, as you claim you can, and bring me more money in than I've ever seen before? How can you do that? We're going to teach you to get the doctor curious enough to set aside 45 minutes to watch a live demonstration of our software. Now, if you haven't seen that, by the way, you should get back with your ABS business coach that sent you the email for this webinar and let them show you. We'll do a one-on-one presentation to you of our technology just so you can see how impressive it is. But Eric, I've always said that if I can just get doctors to these webinars, we'll close the sale for the licensee. A good percentage of those doctors who see these demos go ahead and move forward with our licensees. So I don't know of any other company that would do that. At no charge to you, we'll do that forever. And we'll bring as many people on board for you as we possibly can. We're doing the demo with the doctor live. Oh, Eric's actually showing you right now. Eric, I guess that's a live, you're actually logged into the system right now.
Yeah, while you were talking, I felt, hey, why not? Let's just look at it here. We'll take you and show you how we can take a doctor of doing what's called an eligibility request right straight here online, taking them right directly here, and we can show them. We'll work with you, with your doctor. We will step you through every way that you need help in getting this doctor. We'll talk to them about how the reports look. We'll talk to them about how they set up their patient demographics. We'll talk to them about how they do these, like I said, insurance eligibility. We will do the demonstration for you in live, real time, while you're sitting there with them kneecap to kneecap at that particular office. You know, Patrick, there's just not another business system or franchise or business opportunity that goes to the lengths of what we do to help our licensees actually get clients.
We answer all the questions during that demo. You're there online as well, or maybe even in the doctor's office watching the demo that we're doing, so you get to hear the questions the doctor asks and our answers to those questions. And Eric, many times I've heard the doctors towards the ends of those demos say, well, what do I do to get started? How do I get going here? And all you have to do is have your paperwork ready that we teach you to hand to them to get them to sign up and get going with you. Eric, if this is all we did for licensees, it'd be worth a whole lot more than $26,000.
Absolutely. And the next two slides that we're going to kind of look at here is what are the main factors that make my billing company different than others, and then really what about the competition? What about my competitors? What do they look like out there? What we were just briefly showing you on us doing the demonstration, and then when we get to show the doctors how the system works for them, because what we were able to show with them, we could stay in our system. So everybody just kind of think about this. When we show the iClaim platform, we can show the doctor that we don't have to jump from one screen to another. We stay within the program itself. We can gather all the information that we need for that particular patient. We can even check to see whether their insurance is valid or not. We can populate their entire patient demographics. That means their first name, last name, everything, and to bring it directly into the system. So we're kind of answering both of these slides here. What's my main factor? Well, that's one of them. And what about competition? There is no other billing platform out there that does what iClaim does. So, Patrick, I mean, whenever it gets down to it, we start eliminating a lot of our competitors when and while we're doing the live demonstrations.
That's right. The doctor sees them. In fact, I've heard the doctors say, Eric, during that demo, I mean, you can hear them talking to their staff in the background saying, you know, wow, I didn't realize that could be done technologically. But to tie it back in with who are the competitors, folks, there's lots of medical billing companies that have probably been around in your area that are out there. They are your competitors in this respect. They do submit claims through clearinghouses to insurance companies. That's about the only thing that is common with what you do. Because with your live demo to the doctor that we do for you, with the fact that we've got the built-in clearinghouse and the technology to do this instant eligibility checking online in real time, it will blow you away and it'll blow the doctors away when they see this. So you will stand out. Plus, we've given you tools that we've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars developing the tools that you'll have that other billing companies don't have. They don't have a book that they can put their name on, tied in with a doctor like this. That's a wonderful marketing tool. We haven't time today to show all the different tools, but we've got brochures, flyers, postcards, all sorts of stuff, folks. Displays for trade shows, flip charts. It's just an array of stuff that we've come up with that we've spent literally over $100,000 developing. So could you do this on your own? Yes, theoretically. There have been people who started their own medical billing business. My wife and I did back in the late 80s, but we didn't have any competition back then. We were the only ones doing it practically.
And then was into us for how can ABS continue to support me for life?
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons that we can do that, because with these ancillary services that you see here, like CodeWrite and Audit Guard and iDocs Now and ChoicePay and QuickLink, those are other services that we don't have time today to go into detail. They're talked about in our virtual brochure. If you go through our brochure that we'll send you when you sign up online on our website. But those are the things that I was mentioning earlier, that we make a few pennies on each one of those transactions. So behind the scenes, we're earning money as you're continuing to run claims through our system. And so that's why we can support you for life. As long as you're an ABS licensee, meaning you're sending claims to our system, we're going to be making money and supporting you and continuing to train you at no charge.
Yep. We're going to have to start wrapping things up here because we're getting in within 5 minutes to the top of the hour. Here's a great question that I'm going to bring out from Diana, and I'm going to use a slide here to kind of talk about that too as well. And she says, God forbid that I die after graduating from ABS, running my own business for a while. Would my daughter be able to continue with my business, or would she have to purchase it as I did?
No, there's no need to purchase another license. In fact, folks, you can will this to your children, or to anyone for that matter. You can sell your business. Some licensees at some point get to the point where they want to move on to do something else or truly retire for good, and so they'll sell their business. There's no fees due to ABS at all if you sell your business. Now, if that person wants to attend our live training workshop here in Dallas and have the live ongoing support from us, they will need to pay the licensing fee just like you did. You can build that into the sales price, or if it's your son or daughter, hopefully they've learned enough from you in the years that you were teaching them that they don't need to come through that training. They don't need our ongoing support. Yeah,
matter of fact, we just interviewed Val Bassey. Diana, you might want to go check that out. It was an interview Patrick did just a few weeks ago from Val Bassey, and I think she's got her son actually running the company now. So that kind of answers your question there, Diana. And for those that get their business up and going and you want to take a vacation, what do you do if you don't have some employees? Obviously, this is a pretty valid question here, Patrick.
Yeah, it is. And there are licensees who want to take off for 2 or 3 weeks to go to, the Caribbean or to Tahiti or wherever. You can do that easily with this business, folks, because it's cloud-based, meaning anywhere that you have an internet connection, you can take your laptop with you and run the business from anywhere. Or if you've trained somebody to do the work for you while you're gone, you can check in on them online and not have to worry about it. Let them do all the actual submitting to the claims. So yes, you don't have to have employees. We'll show you how to set up independent contractors who can do that work for you, and just let them do that while you're on vacation. Or again, as a part of our nationwide network, there are licensees who would do that billing for you using our system, the same system you're using, right? And then turn that back over to you when you come back, of course. But they would split the profits with you, of course, while you're gone.
Absolutely. Patrick, we're getting close to the end of the hour. How can you stay in business offering a money-back guarantee? We'll kind of start wrapping up with this, and we'll go right into the last part of the slides here.
Well, in fact, that question answers itself, folks. If we weren't doing, during that week of training, exactly what we say we're going to do, and convincing you that it is a good business, that it's profitable, that you can make money at it, that you can sign up clients. If we didn't do that during that week, we would have everybody asking for their money back, and we couldn't stay in business. So it kind of answers itself. I said earlier that there were people who had asked for a refund over the past 23 years. I'm talking about a handful of people, literally, that have asked for a refund. Those are usually very unique circumstances. Like one fellow came, he had invested the money. At the time, I don't think it was $26,000, but anyway, he had invested the money and didn't tell his wife. So while he was here, the wife found the paperwork at home and called him up and said, you better come home with that money or just don't come home. Right. So there are reasons why people ask for their money back, but it's not anything about what we've done right or wrong. Right. However, there's no stipulations. Look, there's no weasel words in this guarantee. As you can see, it just says for any reason. You don't think this business is right for you. Now, that's your decision, right? Nobody else's but you can decide that. Just tell us and we'll give you all your money back. Now, you will be out your travel expenses, but that, folks, could be under $1,500. That's pretty cheap investment to find out if what we're saying is true.
Yes.